Oh, hey, didn't see you come in. Nice to have you here. This is the first of a new podcast that we're trying just for members. Members only podcast. So if you're an Escape Collective member, you're getting this right up into your ears. If you're not hearing this at all, so joke's on you. So thank you for your support. We thought that this was a useful place for us to put some of the silliness that we experience when we're at bike races. It's a tangents podcast. So if you like our tangents when we're at the Tour de France or at the Classics or any of those places, this is like a more concentrated version of that. So yeah, thank you for your support and for being Escape Collective members. And if you think that your friends might like this kind of thing, you know what to do. Send them over to Escape Collective, tell them to sign up. Now, over to the show. We recorded several different segments of this podcast, and on listening back, Kaylee rightfully, but also a little bit boringly, said that we needed to do a better job of introducing them. So this is what we're trying to do here. Segment 1 is about Safety Jogger. Don't know what Safety Jogger is? That's fine. They're one of the mid-tier sponsors of Soudal Quickstep, Belgian cycling team. They're a very funny sponsor to me and have been for a long time because of their name, because of their ugly shoes, because of their general practical vibe, which is, just fascinating. So, as you'll learn, Johnny and I went to the Safety Jogger factory because what the hell else are you going to do on a day in Oudenaarde? And these are our learnings.
Ian, was visiting Safety Jogger HQ like finding out that Father Christmas isn't real?
Safety Jogger, for some context, is my favourite minor team sponsor of a Belgian cycling team.
Soudal Quickstep.
Soudal Quickstep. And they have Safety Jogger things on the back of their buses. They are like an industrial footwear company.
Yeah. They're branching out.
They are
but also
trying,
a fashion brand.
They are trying very hard to branch out, with limited success, I would say. So, for whatever reason, the Soudal Quickstep press conference prior to Paris-Roubaix was at the Safety Jogger factory, which I was excited about because I've been following Safety Jogger for a while, finding them funny.
They are funny, and so excited that we walked 45 minutes there.
Yeah.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
What is it specifically?
Safety Jogger.
No. I have to finish the question. What is it specifically that you enjoy about the existence of the sponsor? Like, so the three of us, when we wander around the buses in the morning and we come across the Quickstep bus, we see the Safety Jogger advertisement on the back of the bus, or we are driving around Belgium and we see a big sign on the side of the road
Remco holding up
with Remco holding up some, steel-toed shoe. What is it that brings you the joy? Is it the fact that Remco probably is it sort of the disparity between the target consumer of Safety Jogger and the 125-pound cyclist that is selling it?
This is multifactorial, so I'll start with the name.
Okay.
I think it's two words that do not belong together.
Oh, I didn't even consider that.
So, jogger, itself a funny word.
Yes.
Safety jogger. Like, it's not a product that needs to be safe. It is something that you jog in. So I would also say that the shoes are not joggers.
It's also
In any way.
a deeply Belgian brand with English words. So why?
Yeah.
That's quite common, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For what purpose? Potential
English
expansion?
English words are cool in a lot of Northern Europe.
Well, I think that the second factor.
I'm not saying it's like right. I'm just saying it is.
That's the
The second factor I enjoy about Safety Jogger, which bounces off your point nicely, is that it is not cool. There is nothing about Safety Jogger that is cool.
No.
Nothing has ever been cool about Safety Jogger.
They managed to do the opposite of cool with every single swish of a marketing.
What is the Safety Jogger of your particular country?
Safety Jogger. because I spoke to the CEO and interviewed him for like 10 minutes. And
You should say more about, like, he was a larger-than-life character, dressed very...
yeah,
I mean, we don't want to...
he had a very nice tailored suit on, which looked like it was made from like hotel curtains.
Yeah, like, it was like TV dinner set, America 1960s sort of vibe.
Yeah,
like
and
orangey browns.
From memory, like a mustard skivvy underneath.
It was quite...
And
he was loud, exuberant.
he was.
This question goes somewhere, but yeah.
And I was just going to add, what I find funny about Safety Jogger is...
Wait, you didn't tell me what your safety jogger is yet.
Oh, my... most of our safety... a lot of those brands have now been co-opted into being like a sort of streetwear sort of...
So this is where I was going with this, is that ours is Carhartt.
Yeah, Carhartt is...
I have Carhartt gear that is for like actually working outside, right?
Chopping down trees, shooting your deer in the face.
Shooting deer in the face. You know,
You've never done
farming.
that. Have you shot a deer?
I don't do. I'm not a hunter personally.
No.
No issue with it.
Around
I'm
with
just
bow and
it's
arrow.
not me. No, but like, you know, you go into the like if I go for a gravel ride in Durango and I ride past some of those like little oil
Do you have
thingies.
them?
Oh yeah.
I thought they only existed in like Looney Tunes or something.
No, they're everywhere.
Oh,
and
wow.
they, they pull oil out of the ground. I don't know. It's not fracking. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I don't know a lot about oil extraction.
So Kaylee lives in There Will Be Blood.
Pretty much.
Yep.
The whole West is covered in these things, right? And like the dudes fixing those, Carhartt. Right? Because it's like reasonably priced and will last 1,000 million years, and it's like legit outdoor Western. You do your shit in your Carhartt, and that has now been co-opted to the point where we've been going to the same fancy coffee shop in the morning every morning because we're fancy people, and the baristas all have Carhartt T-shirts on. My point being, is this future of Safety Jogger? Are they shooting for the Carharttification of Safety Jogger?
Well, if they are, they're doing it wrong, because what I enjoy most about Safety Jogger is the juxtaposition of Remco Evenepoel is made to hold these objectively disgustingly ugly shoes and look like he's holding his newborn baby. And like they wrote the mechanics in, or the bus driver. It's like, oh, Dries loves his Safety Joggers. And there seems to be, if there is any sort of realization about how terrible the product is, there's just a sort of disassociation.
Yeah,
from everyone.
But I think that there is a Belgian earnestness to their reaction to the Safety Jogger, in that I spoke to a trainer on Soudal Quickstep about Safety Joggers, and he was just deeply on brand and was talking about how there's a Safety Jogger for everyone. And then I looked down at his shoes and I was like, okay, so these shoes, are these Safety Joggers? And he said, yes, these are Safety Joggers. They have a lifestyle collection called SJ, by the way. So he was wearing some SJs.
SJ.
And I said, what is safe about these shoes? And he was like, it has good gripper. And then I said, does it have a steel toe cap? And he said, no. And then I said, so if you dropped something on these Safety Joggers, they would not be very safe joggers.
Oh.
And then the conversation kind of fizzled after that.
You're joking.
It was one of several conversations about Safety Joggers that I've had recently, and it has given me a greater appreciation for the brand.
So it's not been like because as we walked into the building, I thought that it was sort of seeing too much behind the scenes inside the factory of how your chicken nuggets are made. That meant that you wouldn't be able to...
yes, but also I enjoyed... so Kaylee's just pulled up some safety overshoes.
Yeah, they look great.
None of it looks good. Like there's not a good looking product. Apart from the one that might be okay is the lifestyle one.
But like modern fashion things seems to be, and maybe this is just me as an old man.
Here we go. This is now we're hitting up. Here we go.
Seems to be the uglier it is.
Yes.
The more on trend it is. And so
these should be very on trend.
So I'm like, it was a genuine question. It's like,
you think it
like
could?
you are basically
Buy
one
Safety Jogger stock now.
Yeah, like you are one like influencer in hold on, I'm going to pull them up, in like something in like particularly horrid, like the Dolce 81, for example, which is over on the right there.
But it's still got to be right, like those, those Salaman ones.
Yeah, but those would fit in
Salaman
perfectly on, like, Paris Fashion Week this year.
I don't see it for Safety Jogger. I don't
very
think that is their
specific.
destiny.
Like they must, the brands that make the transition must pay these creative directors like millions of pounds to manage to impart it into the ketamine dulled brains.
You're not
telling
you're telling me that you couldn't get some influencer or somebody on a runway to wear the Tiger Grip Safety Jogger Visitor Slip Resistant Safety Toe Protectors lightweight toe cap overshoes with self-adjusting strap.
Maybe them.
Over top of the regular shoes.
So it's like an accessory.
You'd have to wear them with no shoes, with no other shoe. But
It's
I think it's
$9.99.
a very tightly controlled ecosystem, and they can't go too wild and shit, otherwise the jig is up.
Yeah, I upset the Safety Jogger CEO a little bit where I was trying to get into like why is this good for you? Like what do you get out of sponsoring a cycling team? And he gave me some abstract figures.
I get to go to the Tour de France every year.
Yeah, I mean properly. Although he did sound quite weary, like he'd been to 35 countries in the last year, and he sounded tired of it. Actually, I'm about to upset Safety Jogger a little bit here because I said, "Is Cortina the parent company?" And he said, "We don't say that. They are the parent company, but they don't like that in the media. So you've got to scoop here."
No.
Yep.
It's all a lie.
He asked
so it is
me
like
to,
Father Christmas.
He just asked me to refer to them as Safety Jogger and not mention the Cortina family.
Did you enjoy when he mentioned the fact that all of the Soudal Quickstep riders, the Roubaix squad, were wearing safety joggers, and at which point they all looked down to confirm that they were wearing safety joggers, and instead of this sort of obvious fucking bullshit inspiring like a cheeky little grin from Yves Lampard, they instead all looked just thoroughly just depressed at like what they had to do in order to get paid to ride their bikes.
I will say a couple of points on Safety Jogger and Yves Lampard. A man who is most probably capable of wearing safety joggers earnestly because he is a farmer's son.
He will wait every year for his fresh delivery of the ones they want him to wear with glee, because then he can chuck out his old ones and he doesn't have to buy trainers anymore.
So after the press conference finished, he just sort of wandered off, and they had this big display wall with all of the different models, and he just was like picking them up and assessing their function, and seemed quite pleased with it. So that's point one with Yves Lampard and Safety Jogger. Point two, a humble man, I would say he is. And it seems like he doesn't particularly like the
limelight,
the media bullshit that he has to do. But he got taken into a sort of side bit behind the behind the wall that had all the Soudal Quickstep logos on.
Yeah.
And there was a cameraman there, and the Safety Jogger CEO was there. And the Safety Jogger CEO, very like showman-like, was
gregariously,
like, "We're here with Yves Lampard." And then Yves Lampard had to like do a high five for video, and then like immediately afterwards, the smile fell from his face, and he scurried out of the room, neck burning with shame.
He did. He wants a high five. It was like 10 times louder than that.
It was so loud.
He did scurry out. He looked like being caught doing something wrong, and you know when someone walks and their legs are moving faster than the actual speed of they're walking, that was him. And even though it was a cool maintained temperature inside, he was bright red because he was realizing what he'd just had to do in order to get his next paycheck. And that's the sort of dichotomy of Yves Lampard, really, the most natural safety jogger ambassador, but he's not quite willing to step up to the role.
Too humble for the ambitions of the brand.
Okay, so at bike races all around the world, they bring out mascots. It's not a phenomenon unique to cycling, but there are mascots at football games, there are mascots at probably cricket games, lawn bowls games, croquet games, I don't know. But there are definitely mascots at cycling events, and I really like talking to them. I think that there's a fun anonymity to it because I don't know if they can see me. I can't see them. I know that there's somebody inside the suit, but I really like inquiring what's going on in their lives, what's led them to this point, whether they're happy about it, whether they're experiencing like a deep existential dread about the fact that they're a mascot, for the day or maybe for their career. So yeah, this is some mascot chat.
What did the European Championship deer have to say to you at the Tour of Flanders?
Thank you. Good question. So
I hate it when people say that to you. Like when people tell you had a good question and you're like 20 questions deep into an interview.
what they're really saying is that the first 19 was
Yeah,
shit.
exactly.
So I like interviewing mascots.
Yeah,
I
you've
don't-
carved out a niche.
I don't really do anything
It
with a
didn't
lot of the
exist.
interviews I do because I just like, I don't talk to people
just
very
for
often.
archive purposes.
Oh,
Okay.
you never know when you'll need it.
Yeah.
So I saw some deer mascots for the European Championships. Went over and started talking to them, and I confirmed that they were.
Was it a start of Flanders?
Yeah, there were
Yeah.
two.
Is
there
that
were
what
two,
those were?
Like, yeah, there were two deer mascots wearing the European bands, just wandering around doing
Yeah.
the sort of activation bullshit that they do.
Yeah.
There was a tall one and a small one.
Europe exists.
Yeah.
I asked them I asked the deer if they spoke English, and they agreed that they did.
They agreed. That's good.
So then the main spokes deer was the small one, and I asked
Do you think they arranged that ahead of time?
what the
If we get interviewed, who's answering?
Oh.
they probably have media training.
Do you think like your name on the accreditation system flashes up like code red, and they're like, we better actually learn our bullshit?
Well, the bullshit that I was asking them wasn't anything to do with their actual, like what they were representing. I don't know to this day where the
don't
World
know,
Champion,
and
the
you don't
European
care.
Championships are.
They're in the Netherlands.
Are they?
It's worked on me. Yeah.
That's good news for them.
Yeah.
So they're cross-border deer.
It's all the same. To quote Kaylee, it's all kind of the same. Isn't it?
So I asked the deer what their deal was. I asked if it was hot in there, and they said it was. And it was quite a cold
It was
morning.
a cool morning, so lucky them.
Previously, I've interviewed the Skoda Lion at the Tour de France,
Yes.
and I think a bobcat actually, called Felix.
And the man who got deflated and decommissioned at the end of every, you know, the human, what's it called, like the humanoid mascot at the Tour de France with the yellow helmet and the lightning bolt.
Nasty little freak of a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who would then, the costume would get deflated down and left crumpled in the pile on the floor as if.
You know what? You know what says a lot about Belgium?
What?
No one cares we're doing this.
No, because there's something more weird and fucked up waiting around the corner for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was
Anyway,
it?
sorry.
So the Skoda deer, understandably, it was about 40 degrees, and that Skoda
Lion.
Skoda Lion, sorry. She told me, the mascot, her name was Fanny, told me that
I remember this.
it was very hot in there, and I believed her because it was very hot, and she was in a lion.
Yeah.
And we saw her extract herself from it afterwards backstage,
Mm-hmm.
and she looked like she was in distress. Meanwhile, the deer in Flanders seemed like they would actually enjoy being a mascot in that scenario because it was, I don't know, like
It was
9 degrees or
temperate, yeah.
something.
It's called.
But she also said that it was very hot. Other than that, they are marketing interns. They
Hell yeah.
Okay, so it's like a shit sandwich you have to eat to climb the greasy pole.
Yep. Although the Skoda ones are actually like proper marketing people. The Skoda
Well, the
Lion.
Tour de France is slightly higher profile.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't expecting like the brand manager for the Skoda Enyaq to be in it.
Yeah, you're almost. They're almost too famous.
Yeah,
that
they
you're
went
sort
too
of-
high and these guys went too low.
Follow-up question.
Ah.
If we were going to, for example, put an intern in a costume at the Tour de France this year, what would that costume be?
Well, you shouldn't say this because we are maybe planning on getting an intern in, and this may
This may help or hinder.
dissuade them.
Yeah.
I think we need to go.
A life-size Ian Trelaw costume.
No, like more aggressively functional and abstract than that. So like the E on the escape
Oh
logo.
yes.
So just a big E with like arms
Yes,
and legs
like
sticking
like
out
a
of
hockey puck sort of situation.
I don't know what they'd see out of, but maybe like the
That'd be good.
dot in the middle of the round
E.
bit of the E.
Yeah.
Maybe that. And the other thing I talked about with the deer mascot was that it was pretty fucking odd that I was looking at them in the deer eyes instead of in the mouth of the deer, where their actual eyes were, and they agreed that.
And
that
they had to
was-
hold it up, didn't they? Because it was so
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah. The deer head was so heavy that just occasionally I'd look over at the deer because they were standing at the end of the press shoot waiting to pose for a photo with Casper
Watching
Asgreen.
them.
And they just had to like prop their chins up of the deer costume so that it wasn't
Holy fuck.
like sliding off their head.
Back to the escape mascot. I think if that happened, it would mean that our company was too deeply American, and I would probably have to find something else. If that was like if it hadn't been a jokey suggestion, and it said like this will be really good for the brand, guys. This could work.
There's a very good Twitter account that I don't know if you follow, but I know I do, which is just pictures of mascots at football games
Yes.
observing a minute
Silence
silence.
for on Remembrance Sunday. It's really good. Because West Bromwich Albion, who
Hate
a team
them.
from the Midlands, Kaylee hates them. I'm supposed to hate them as well, but I like them a bit more after
I don't even know why though.
their
so.
shirt sponsor for a few seasons was a company called Ideal Boilers, and so the mascot was a boiler with arms and legs. And so the boiler was there, arm around the players at the end of the line, drum bowed, to also remember our war dead. Sometimes there's even poppy mascots that also then observe the minute silence, which you think this is kind of overkill.
Do you remember the alligator, the EF alligator?
That's before my time, I think.
No, it's recent.
But
Crocodile.
But was it in
Alligator?
real life? I only ever saw
Crocodile?
it in cartoon form.
No, there's like an actual person running around in an alligator
I never
costume.
saw that. Have you seen that
I've never seen that.
Oh, come on. No?
at the tour?
Come on,
Come on.
up your game.
Yeah, it's like Kelly's like, if you haven't covered that, that's a missed article there. Well, there's also a big hoo-ha in the UK. Speaking of football mascots, because Arsenal's mascot called Gunnosaurus was a 50-year-old man, and they tried to sack him at the start of COVID to save money. Meanwhile, they're paying the footballers millions of pounds a week, and he's on like 50k. Oh my god. No. Okay, why?
It's rounder and bigger than I thought. Argyle the crocodile.
I've never
Yeah.
seen that. Was this only at like American?
I don't
like,
know who
gravel
they put
races
in
or
there.
something?
Matt Bowden put somebody in there.
Matt Bowden would never get in that costume.
No. Never in a million years.
I could see Kira or Johannes
I think
having
this
a fun day out.
this must have been like pre-COVID now. Yeah, because here's a
I didn't go
photo
to a
of
bike race
Argyle with Taylor Finney.
before COVID, so I wouldn't have seen it. Oh, that kit's old. That's like 2016, 2018 maybe?
Yeah, but that's not that long ago, pre-COVID. Right?
You keep saying pre-COVID as that's a thing.
Yeah,
Um,
like it splits the
yeah,
earth
the
in my head.
Oh, right.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
I thought you were suggesting that like Argyle the crocodile was like a super spreader or something, and he got banished.
The missing link from the transmission between bats and humans.
I've just seen Johnny's got his little calendar.
This is how I try and organise my life. Doesn't work. What did you see? Where was it?
I just saw Dad B-Day.
Yes. Is it good or bad that I have to remember my dad's birthday? Well, I know it anyway, but it's usually somewhere just away here.
I mean, it's a pretty easy birthday to remember.
Well, it's your birthday, that's why.
That's, I mean, yeah, I know.
You birthday bitch.
One of the nice things about going to a different place than your own home country is that you get to experience all kinds of cultural and culinary wonders. That was no different on our trip to the classics this year, where we spent most of the time in Belgium with little detours into France and the Netherlands. So yeah, this is kind of a grab bag of all of that Belgium content, all of the things that we learnt about Belgium, our observations about Belgium, the good, the bad, the ugly, the mistakes that were made along the way, and the friends that we made along the way.
What is a bad percentage for a final beer?
I know this one quite intimately because last night we were out with our members, and I should backpedal a little bit. At the restaurant that we were having dinner before going out for beers with the members, the restaurant forgot our pizza. There seems to be a bit of forgetfulness in this little pocket of
And
Belgium.
we're the common denominator.
Yeah. So we thought we'd line our stomachs with a lovely little spicy sausage pizza, split in two because we weren't super hungry, but we knew we needed something. And then
Lovely detail on this section. I was about half.
One
not
pizza,
hungry,
2 plates, please.
Half full. Yes. Anyway,
Fast forward, they forgot our pizza,
Okay.
and we left,
Mm-hmm.
furious.
I
And
had
then,
a beer.
and then we went and started recording a podcast, and that snowballed into other beers. And then at a point where I probably should have made some different choices, I opted for a 12% beer as a nightcap.
At which point in the night, me and you, even though we sat next to each other, rejoined the conversations, and I turned to you, and your face and all your features had sort of, you know, like in Toy Story when Mr. Potato Head like gets in a little collision and then pops back up, and they're all in the wrong bit. It's like a Picasso painting. That's what you look like. You had the craziest look in your eye.
I believe you. I don't remember, but I believe you.
Kaylee said it's the most sort of mashed up that he's ever seen you. And
I
you
think so.
have obviously known each other a lot longer than I've known you guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall if I've ever seen Elaine in that state prior. I don't think so.
It was fun though because he was
good
quite
fun.
docile.
Well, and you and
More
I were just sort of
docile.
walking behind him and just making sure he didn't, walk in the road or tumble into some crevasse somewhere.
We eventually managed to find food in sort of, there's 2 places open in Kortrijk, they're both kebab shops. We went ahead, Kaylee called me asking for the location, and all I told him was we've got it under control.
Did
Which
he
we
believe
did.
you?
No. He didn't. We got some lovely kebabs. You were marvelling at the fact that there was sweet corn in the kebabs.
Yeah,
And
I mean, they do that in Norway where I've had
Did they?
some kebabs before.
I was perturbed.
But it's not something that I would choose to put in a kebab. And I suppose I could have, if I was a little bit more aware of my surroundings, asked for the corn to be left out, but I didn't. So I had the
No.
corn, and I think the corn was what led to me choking.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. Suddenly, you disappear off around the corner. As Kaylee, I think, was coming out of the establishment with his order, and I sort of was like, oh god, Ian's, I think, gone around the corner to throw up. I then peer around the corner, and you are... We're recording this on video, but I'm going to have to describe it anyway. You were sort of violently throwing half of your body up and down. Like, I think a Queen of the Stone Age music video when they, like, speed up, like, they're headbanging or something. Like, it looked like you were headbanging ferociously while holding a kebab. And you came back, and I sort of asked you when we're back in our hotel room, which we'll also discuss, because I don't think we have on a podcast yet. And I was like, oh, did you have, like, a little sick around the corner? And you were like, no, I was choking. And I was like, why did you walk away then from the rest of the group? And you said I didn't want to be a burden. Is that often how you find yourself a burden when you're
Near death.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what happens. That's a natural reaction.
I'll get a little bit serious here, because once I had pneumonia after a major surgery, and I passed out on the floor of
my God.
family home, and my brother came home like an hour or 2 later or
Yeah.
whatever, and was like, why didn't you call an ambulance? And I was like, pretty much the same thing, didn't want to be a burden.
Oh my God.
So it's an ongoing I suppose it's a form of mental illness, really. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice. Have we discussed our hotel room setup on a
Not
podcast?
publicly.
Only. Okay.
What we've just
Now we-
muttered amongst it.
Yeah. maybe
Well,
some
like,
members
the
on
members
trip.
here have heard about it,
Ah,
but we haven't. Yeah, we haven't broadcasted to the world.
I think we should
The
for
situation.
2 reasons. 1, it's silly. 2, it shows that we're being very responsible with our members' money, which is good for optics.
Yes.
I mean, Kaylee, triple room. There was
room.
1.
Yeah.
I think you made a good decision. It was us 3.
Well, I just knew that, the 3 of us have done
unfussy.
this before.
We
We are
have.
unfussy. We would get through it. None of us would come out the other side, any worse for
Damaged.
wear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lacking a friendship with any of the other 2.
Well, you knew Ian wasn't going to complain.
Yeah.
I can die and I won't make a fuss.
Yeah, but I did expect some things from this room,
Yeah.
which we didn't end up getting from this room, such as there's some just missing doors.
Where are those doors missing?
Well, specifically in between where the shower is and where the other two of us are most of the time.
And also the bathroom.
And the bathroom.
So
Well,
there
but no. The toilet has a door,
But the
which you
actual
can't
door to
close.
but you can't close.
Yeah,
But,
you
you know,
can't. If you're not being able to close it either.
No, you sort of. It doesn't have a handle on the inside, so when you're trying to swing it closed, you can't. You just have to give yourself a bit of a run up and heave it back, and then the air sort of pushes it back out. So there's always a minor crack
right.
in the door. So when Kaylee came back to the room before, unexpected, and I was on the toilet, I just sort of yelled
Oh yes,
through
that
the
did happen
gap.
this morning, but I didn't know
But
how
this
to
is
warn
why-
you that he was having a dump upstairs. Yeah.
This is why I, upon entry, yelled and said, "Hello, anybody inside?"
And
And
I
you
confirmed that I
acknowledged-
was and where I was and what I was doing.
I mean, there was only one thing that was going to be coming from that particular direction, so you could have said anything, and I would have known, and not gone that way, because basically, it's not that the bathroom was sort of in the rest of the bedroom. You had to go around a corner, but there was no door in between the things that happen in a bathroom, shower, etc., and where the three of us were sleeping.
So we just kind of have a gentleman's agreement that if
Don't walk around the corner.
if there are don't walk around the corner.
Yeah.
Assume that
The worst is happening.
assume that body parts that you don't want to see will be out at any and all times
Yeah.
when you go around that corner, and also that if there is a need, then one of us catches the lift 4 floors down to the basement of the hotel to go to the toilet.
Yeah, I've realised also I've spent 2 of the last 3 weeks sleeping somewhere that doesn't have a door on the toilet, because when I was away on holiday, the Airbnb also didn't have a door to the toilet or the
They
bathroom,
doing?
and it was quite a small place. So yeah, crossed some new boundaries in my relationship, which you have to do at some point, I guess. I probably shouldn't have shared that. Should we move on to the next question? Was that a segment? Probably not.
What else have you got?
Final question. Were you more morally opposed to the exploitation of the Cobble children or of the Arenberg goats?
I don't think the Arenberg goats were being exploited.
Even when they sort of got off of the path of the Cobbles and tried to eat the more luscious grass, and then got dealt a swift kick to their underside to make them move back on.
To be fair, that goat had
Had it
ample
coming to
warning.
him.
Like the goat herder tried to redirect its attention several times,
Well, he would
and
try
it just
that
wasn't
and
listening.
He would try that and then swear under his breath at how possibly the goat could not be paying attention.
We should probably provide a little more context. We went on a Paris-Roubaix recon kind of thing
With Shimano Neutral Service.
with Shimano Neutral Service in their
Yeah.
big blue car,
Yeah.
and there were there's an organisation called Friends at Paris-Roubaix
Yeah.
who prepare the cobbles, grade them, check that everything's all good,
Mm-hmm.
and they enlist local teens to help them scrub the cobbles. So they were just teenagers, just
Children.
children.
They were little teenagers. Makes them sound like almost adults. These were
15.
14, 15.
Yeah, so
Operating
they,
heavy machinery.
yeah, there was one with a big street sweeper thing. There were
Trying to get
others.
Remove puddles with spades
Or brooms,
or brooms.
which I think the thing that was cruelest about that was after we'd watched them do this for a while, they just moved out of the way, and then we drove our cars over
Through
the cobbles that they'd just cleaned,
Yeah.
slopping mud back all over them.
Yeah.
So that
it was purely performative.
I think so, but
It was, but the question is why? What does it achieve by having a child broom mud into a sodden field, where the water table will then just bring back the mud and the rain directly onto the cobbles hours later?
I mean, there's two parts to that. So the first part is kind of like an existential, boulder up the hill kind of thing, right?
What does boulder up the hill mean?
Like they're just endlessly pushing this boulder, and I think there is a futility.
Sisyphean.
Yeah,
Like how we just chuck content onto the internet.
it's just something you do, and then it's done,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to do it for a little while.
Bike media is fundamentally Sisyphean.
And this podcast is quite probably.
But the second part to that is a more boring but accurate answer.
Okay.
They actually get credit for it because it's like some sort of trade school. So,
Really?
so there's like
Did they actually?
it's
Did you
like
find this out?
classwork, yeah. So
Wow.
they do a couple of days of, I don't know, moving cobbles around, and they're studying at a trade school to be landscapers or
Wow.
something, and
There we go.
then that goes towards their grade for being able to sweep rocks, something.
So the children were the more exploited between them and the goats.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the goats were genuinely having a pretty good time.
Nice.
They usually are.
There was one that I became friends with, and I think that was
You
I-
did. There was a connection there.
I felt that goat
371.
30071.
Hmm.
Does that
371
mean there have been
twins.
30,000 clipped goats?
It's, yeah, the goat number 30,000.
Anyway, that was a good goat.
That was a good goat.
Whereas the teens were bad teens.
Scare them straight with a bit of mudslinging. There we have it. Addendum question: How terribly or well has this podcast gone?
It feels like we've been talking for about an hour and a half, so I'm curious.
I think we just got to the end of the week.
54 minutes.
Oh, really?
We can edit that down.
That's tighter than I thought.
Yeah,
No, I think it's gone well.
it's an experiment. We'll see.
It is experimental. It's a vibes-based podcast for
Just a
I-
little, extra, a little additional. Like at the when we hang out together again at the Tour de France, I think we've got various plans to do more contained episodes, such as doing a pit walk, as the likes of Kaylee and Ronan do, where they go and observe the tech and the bikes of the Tour de France. We will instead do a pit walk and observe the caravan of the Tour de France.
I think
or
it's
the
a good
Start
way.
Village.
Probably the best way to look at it is as the 12% beer at the end of the night.
I like that. Boss, do you think it's going to get past the cutting room floor?
You have 50-50.
I'll take those odds.
Not bad.
See ya.
Bye. Kaylee's just hovering with his microphone, waiting for a sign-off that will never come.